Coming to you live from the fabulous MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College journalism presentation.
Hi, I'm Sarah Ryrie, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Toronto Mayor Rob Ford admitted to reporters outside his office today that the allegations that he had used crack cocaine during a drunken stupor were true. In his statement, Ford expressed remorse and spoke to the residents of Toronto, saying, "I know I have let you down and I can't do anything but apologize, and I'm so sorry." Ford said that when it comes to the October 22nd, 2014 election, he wants the people of Toronto to decide if they want him to remain as their mayor. After only 9 weeks of school here at the MediaPlex, first-year students put their skills to the test in an event we call the Blitz. Joseph Elliott reports.
For the last 7 years, St. Clair College journalism students have had first-hand experience at what it's like to work in a real newsroom. Once each semester, first-year students take part in an assignment called Blitz. They arrive for a production meeting at 8 in the morning, then begin working on a story assignment. They have to arrange 2 interviews for the day and have their story ready for the editing process by noon. They then go through 3 edits by second-year students and guests from local media. Journalism Program Coordinator Veronique Mandel says the day gives students a good look into working in a newsroom.
I think the most important thing is that it gives them an understanding of what a day in a newsroom is like. Because it's school, they often have 5 to 7 days to produce their stories. But on Blitz Day, it's real life. They have to get out, get their stories, and get back, get them written and edited, all in one day on deadline.
This year's managing editor for the Blitz is Sandy No.
The Blitz process has been very stressful and time-consuming for me. There's a lot that goes into it, including funding, finding sponsors, getting everything organized in terms of editors, contacting people that need to be contacted. But it's a really good experience. It really lets us show the community what we do here at the MediaPlex by producing this Blitz paper.
Currently going through final copy edits and layout, the Blitz is expected to hit newsstands by next week. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Joseph Elliott.
Need your independent film fix? Then the capital is where you need to be. Sean Preble tells us more.
The Windsor International Film Festival begins tonight. The festival, which is in its 9th year, will be showing 65 independent films at the Capitol Theatre for anyone who wishes to attend. Vincent Georgie, marketing director for the festival, said the event is about the film experience and what people take from it.
I think it's the films. I think the opportunity to take a look at a program of 65 different films and find something that appeals to you, something that'll make you laugh, something that'll make you think, something that'll provoke you, something that you'll just enjoy.
James Montour, a filmmaker at the festival, said the international stage and effective marketing of the event is what he thinks will draw in the crowds.
I think it's, well, one, it's an international film festival, so that already garners quite a bit more attention, and then two, I think their marketing is done really well. The fact that they have a Twitter account that they actually use and they interact with the users and everything. Like, even I tweeted a couple things and they favorited my tweets and retweeted me and everything like that. So I think it's they have that social integration that a lot of other festivals are kind of lacking.
The festival will run until November 10th. Reporting for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Sean Preble.
With Windsor's International Film Festival heading into its 9th year, MediaPlex reporter Murad Erzinçlioglu sat down with WIF Executive Director Peter Cody.
I'm Murad Erzinçlioglu, and today we're spending 5 minutes with Peter Cody. Peter is the Executive Director of the Windsor International Film Festival. Peter, how did you first get involved with the Windsor International Film Festival?
Well, this is our 9th year, as you know, Murad, and in its very first year, I handled what they call print traffic. A very important job in a film festival because I went to the Greyhound bus station and I would pick up the 35mm prints and bring them down to the theater. And I would make sure that those same 35mm prints that would come in these huge canisters, I was much younger then and much stronger, all right? And then I would make sure they would get back to the Greyhound and then back to the distributor. That was my job. And about a nice beginning.
And then leading towards being the executive director.
From there, yes, I was on the board, and then eventually was asked to take the role of executive director, which is where I am today.
Why is it important that independent film specifically, have a home here in Windsor?
Well, gosh, that's a big question. Deserves a big answer, but the answer has something to do with the importance of art in the life of the everyday man and woman. I believe that we have to be able to provide alternative film for the people in Windsor and Essex County. By alternative film, I just mean film that is not normally available. Not film that is not usually that kind of in-your-face film that was not usually seen at the regular theaters. And also films that, because someone decides that they may not have a huge following out there, decide not to distribute them, decide not to bring them into this community. We go out of our way to find those films. We know that there is an audience for them, and that's why we exist, to make that kind of film available.
What makes WIF unique and different from other film festivals?
Well, I'd say, obviously because of the size of this community, we are not TIFF. But there is one way in which we are radically different from any other festival probably in the world. And it has something to do with Windsor. It has something to do with St. Clair College and the University of Windsor. Our executive producers this year are the St. Clair Alumni Association and the Odette School of Business. Both institutions are committed to the downtown of this city. We are committed to the students of both of those institutions. We believe that working with those institutions and the students in those institutions, we can make a unique and a better festival. And what exactly do I mean by that? That kind of a commitment to you and to the students, for example, in the Odette School of Business, is what makes us unique. Today, this is what, Wednesday? Last night we went online. Our 65 films are up there. People can actually purchase tickets online. It was a mammoth undertaking, a last-minute undertaking that is usually done by volunteers. And it also comes with all sorts of problems. So today I'm dealing with a couple of little fires that I have to put out. At 10:30 before, on my way down here, I thought, really? I don't know whether I could spare the time. And really, I considered my time, and I thought it could probably be better spent, say, putting out a little fire over here. But then I thought about what we believe in, our mission statement. And it said to me that meeting here with you today is very important, more important than putting out a little fire over there. So that's what makes us truly unique. How we can give you people, you, I mean the students of these two institutions, life experience in a real film festival, as much as we can.
What can you tell me about the jury and selection process?
Basically, we have 2, 3, I wasn't able to take part in it this year myself. We have usually 3 or 4 people that are part of what we call our programming committee. And these people attend film festivals. These people are aware of what films are out there. They contact distributors directly, contact producers, directors directly, and usually many of these contacts come after having viewed the film at a film festival. Quite often nowadays as well, directors, producers will give us a copy that we can view through Vimeo or online. And having viewed many, many films in that manner, we pare them down and make a decision. So we cut down really from hundreds of films down to what we have this year, 65 films, 97 screenings.
And of those films, which film or films are you personally most excited about screening?
This year, I'm really excited about the opening and the closing. Gabrielle, which is going to be Canada's entry in the foreign film category at the Oscars, and the closing night film, Wajda, which is the first film to come out of Saudi Arabia, first film directed by a woman. And that is going to be Saudi Arabia's entry into the foreign film category at the Oscars as well. So both opening and closing nights are pretty important for me. I'm really looking forward to them.
Where can the community find more information about the festival?
I'm glad you asked that, Murad. Our website, windsorfilmfestival.com. All the information you'll ever need will be found at the website.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you.
I'm Murad Erzinchlioglu, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Executive Director of the Windsor International Film Festival, Peter Cody.
5 residential fires blazed across the city of Windsor in a 1-week span. Fire officials aren't commenting on the causes of the fires, but encourage Windsorites to learn basic safety tips. Stacey Janzer has the story.
Fire Prevention Week was less than a month ago, but firefighters say some people may have missed the message. In a 1-week span, 5 houses caught fire, most resulting in extensive damages.
Oak was about 100,000. Shade Tree is about 400,000. Crawford was about 100,000. Meadowbrook was about 60,000, and Wellington was 0.
This home caught fire while the homeowners were away on vacation. The cause is still under investigation.
Obviously, you want to shut off all your appliances that you're not using if it's going to be an extended length of time. You should probably have somebody regularly check on your house or your unit, whatever it might be.
Firefighters say that while not all fires can be prevented, taking safety precautionary measures is key. We asked people in downtown Windsor to tell us their own tales of near misses with fire.
Mom caught the oil on fire one time, and she brought it outside and tried pouring water on it. That was the stupidest thing she could have done, and it got way bigger. So I told her to just leave it alone, and we just left it alone, and it went out on its own.
Fire officials say sometimes the easiest steps are the most important, and they remind the public to have a working smoke alarm at every level of their home. It's not only the law, but it could also save your life. For MediaPlex News, I'm Stacey Janzer.
With the clocks pushed back an hour this weekend, it's now dark outside a lot earlier. But we're going to go outside anyways to check in with Kyle Simpkins to see what the weather is like. Kyle?
Well, Sarah, it's a little warmer than it usually is this time of year out here. It's 10 degrees Celsius. Feels a little bit more like 7. It's going to stay just like this through the evening and into the night. I'll be back a little bit later in the show to let you know what to expect in the forecast for the rest of the week. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Kyle. Fans of The Walking Dead got a rare taste of the zombie genre. MediaPlex reporter Murad Erzinchlioglu tells us more.
An art opening drew a ghoulish crowd to the Suchu Gallery. Preeminent zombie actor Michael Koski of The Walking Dead made a special 2-day appearance in promotion of his involvement with the program.
I've been there for season 2 and season 3 so far, and I've been over 40 zombies on the show, and some episodes I'm 4, 5, 6 zombies in one episode.
The visit also coincided with an unveiling of an original portrait by locally based and world-renowned painter Ron Suchu.
An actual limited edition print of a zombie, I've never heard of it before. I've never heard of anything like that before, and I like to be contrary to the market too. So.
The event allowed fans the opportunity to get an autographed print of the painting, compete in a zombie costume contest, and learn a thing or two about the craft of zombieism. Local makeup artist Daryl Lozon shared lessons with the crowd.
Well, originally we were going to come in to meet Michael. We're huge fans of The Walking Dead, and we follow it religiously every week. And then once I came in and we discussed a few things, I volunteered to come out and teach people that are coming in how easily they can do this stuff at home.
It would take a lot to impress Koski, who judged the contest.
Someone who really puts time and effort into it, as opposed to just slapping blood on them in a t-shirt. But so I'm really spoiled by our makeup effects and stuff, so detail is my thing.
While you might think it's strange that a world-class artist would paint a zombie, it doesn't surprise Sean Cousineau, owner here at Rogues Gallery Comics.
Basically, since the day we opened the doors, Walking Dead has been in the top 3 selling comic books we have on the shelf, in trade paperback, in any form really. Over the last 2 years, its popularity has sprouted into video games, toys, apparel, just about a little of everything. And it sells off the shelves. We can't keep it in stock.
With the most recent season of The Walking Dead receiving some of its best ratings to date, and a spin-off just announced, the zombie craze would seem to be more than just a passing fad. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Marauder Zinchlioglu.
Have you done your holiday shopping yet? Joseph Elliott gives us some helpful spending tips for this season.
The holiday season is almost upon us, and it's time to look at how much money people are spending. According to the Bank of Montreal, Canadians spent an estimated average of $1,610 during the holiday season in 2012. That's $674 spent on gifts, $563 spent on trips, $267 on entertaining, and $106 spent on other expenses. So how can people save money during the season? Well, stick to your budget, don't overspend on gifts, and look for sales. One shopping event coming up is Black Friday. An estimated $59 billion was spent last year on Black Friday, which is an average of $423 spent by 247 million shoppers. Early projections for the 2013 season have spending up 11%, which means there could be an estimated $65 billion spent this year on Black Friday. So remember to stick to your budget and have a great holiday season. I'm Joseph Elliott, and this has been Your Money Minute.
National Geographic is celebrating their 125th anniversary. Darren Breckles shows us some of their historic photographs from around the world.
For more than a century, National Geographic photographers have produced some of the most iconic images ever. On the occasion of their 125th anniversary, we decided to look at the most famous images and speak to photographers about what makes a great timeless image. Before we get to those interviews, a look at some of those images that capture a moment in time and freeze it in that fraction of a second while the shutter closes. When subject and composition all come together in the hands of a great photographer, the audience remembers it. Great images, whether taken yesterday or long ago, speak to us directly across continents, cultures, and decades. Many of National Geographic's images from the last 125 years are as relevant today or even more so than when they were captured. National Geographic's photos cover the emotion from war and strife, enigmatic beauty, panoramic landscapes, wildlife, and far-off foreign cultures. From Steve McCurry's unforgettable Afghan girl to Nick Nichols' iconic photograph of Jane Goodall and a chimpanzee, to Thomas Abercrombie's never-before-seen view of Mecca, National Geographic has done more to bring high-quality images to the masses than any other publication. I sat down with local photographers Dax Melmer and Spike Bell to ask them what makes a great image and what they feel National Geographic has contributed to the field of photography. Dax Melmer is an award-winning photographer currently with the Windsor Star.
But I mean, that's National Geographic. I mean, they're synonymous with great photo essays. So yeah, you can go to a garage sale and for $5 buy a stack of National Geographics, and what you're getting in that is great storytelling images from years and decades ago. And they made it accessible because people used to have them, and they're those yellow, bright yellow that you kind of, once you see it, you know what you're getting when you open it up. It could be natives in Papua New Guinea, or it could be glacial mountains in in Alaska. All very well done and beautiful to look at.
Spike Bell is an acclaimed photographer with more than 100 awards for excellence, including the Governor General's 125th Anniversary Award and the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. Originally from Regina, Saskatchewan, Bell has been a Windsor resident since 1956 and a photographer for more than 30 years.
I've never had a picture in National Geographic that I recall, but it is one of the best even today. The photographers that go out, I mean, they work their butt off. They send them all over the world. It's an incredible magazine. I get it monthly, like a lot of people. It's a beautiful magazine. They cover a lot of stories, and the photography in there is exquisite. It's just amazing, some of the shots they come up with underwater, or top of a mountain, or whatever.
This has been a look at 125 years of National Geographic photography. For MediaPlex News, I'm Darren Breckles.
Jolene Perrin sat down with local playwright Rob Timmick in this edition of 5 Minutes With.
Hi, my name is Jolene Prarin, and today we are spending 5 minutes with Rob Timick. Rob is a playwright and producer in the Windsor Essex area. I understand you own your own theater company. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Monkeys with a Typewriter, and its main mandate is to produce originally written works by local playwrights.
And what made you decide to start the theater company?
Well, it was really simple, really. I was getting some scripts produced by local theater companies, but it was mainly one-act length stuff. And I wanted to see something bigger get produced, so I wrote a full-length play, and I gave it to the different theater companies in the area. And they all sort of went, no, we can't produce a full-length play. No one will know what it's about. We'd rather just produce, Grease for the 34th time or Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. So I kept getting doors slammed in my face, so I realized I had an option. I could either cry like a baby about not getting any opportunities, or I could create my own opportunities. So I started a theater company that, like I said, specializes in producing original works.
Now let's take a trip back. Can you tell me a little bit about what interested you in theater from the beginning?
Oh, that's going back a long ways, actually. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, and you'll find this hard to believe because you know me a bit already, but I was actually very shy and timid as a child.
Really?
Yes, if you put me in a crowd, I would just completely clam up. I think I was like almost agoraphobic. But then through a strange twist of circumstance, I suddenly had to present something to an audience, and suddenly I felt really comfortable because, I was still a part of this crowd, but there was this nice barrier between us, and this whole other personality came out of me. I think most adults thought I was possessed because it was just this fearlessness, and I loved it. I loved being able to step outside of myself. So since about that age, I've always been drawn to theatrics and presentations in front of audiences and stuff like that.
So having been in the theater business for quite some time, what has changed about it since you began?
It's become a lot more accessible, I think. Back when I was a young lad of 18, 19, which would have been like the late 1700s. No, it was about early 90s. I was just getting done studying drama. I even studied on a post-secondary level, and you really had two options. If you wanted to get into film or television, you were going to go to Hollywood or LA, where thousands of actors were going every month to get a big break. Or if you wanted to do live, you could go to Stratford, where they receive, probably 700-800 CVs a year and only needed 2 more actors. So I gave up on it for quite some time, didn't get back into it till my 30s. Nowadays, of course, we've got Toronto and Vancouver, and I mean, even somebody like me can work full-time in entertainment right here in Windsor. And for the most part, I do just operate in Windsor. I do some out-of-town work, but for most of the time, I'm here.
So for anybody that's looking to get into this theater business, what advice can you give them to get started?
Simplest piece of advice I could give them is show up. It's as simple as that. If you've told your director you're going to meet them for a rehearsal at 7 o'clock on Thursday evening, don't email them at 3:30 Thursday afternoon saying you're sick, and then they end up seeing on their Facebook news feed that you went to a party that night instead. That's actually happened to me as a director several times now. I've fired actors for that. You can have mediocre talent, you can have huge talent, but if you're not showing up when you say you're going to show up, you're not going to work in this business.
What kind of productions have you done in the past?
I try to, because there's a commercial wing of my theater company, I'm trying to make money at it. I do just all styles of theater. I've been in improv troupes, I've done interactive stuff. I've done straight theater with, a proper fourth wall where you're not acknowledging the audience. Anything that seems marketable, or I do some art for the sheer sake of art, but I also do a lot of commercialized stuff too.
What kind of productions can we expect to see from you coming up in the future?
Well, right now I'm still in negotiations with a couple different venues, so I still need to dot some I's and cross some T's on some of my projects before I'll promote them. But I have definitely decided that we're doing theater in the barn again this year. I did it last summer out in a barn in River Canard, actually, and we had so much fun doing it, and we had some success with it that we definitely have signed up for a second season. So we'll probably start around late June, and I'll be doing a couple of productions for that particular venue.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today. That's it for today. I'm Jolene Perrin, and we just spent 5 minutes with playwright and producer Rob Timick.
Now let's head back outside to see what the rest of this week's weather is going to look like. Kyle?
Hey Sarah, here's something I bet you didn't know about the weather. Rain contains vitamin B12. B12 is important to every cell in your body. So when it rains, or if you get caught in the rain, maybe this Wednesday, you just think of the health benefits. All right, we're going to move on to the 3-day forecast. Where on Wednesday, we're going to have that rain I just talked about, and a high of 13 degrees Celsius and a low of 9. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high of 6 and a low of 3. And we'll finish off the week on a high note, at least for the sun. Friday will be sunny with a high of 7 and a low of 1 degree. That's it for me on the corner of University and Victoria. Sarah, back to you up in the studio.
Thanks, Kyle. Many people enjoy a nice glass of wine, and a few were on display at the St. Clair Center for the Arts. Jolene Perrin has the story.
Wines of the World took place last week with 13 wineries, 16 restaurants, and 360 guests, making the night a remarkable success.
We thought this was just a really nice way to engage the community and raise a lot of money for the community.
The proceeds from the event will be going to the Roseland Rotary, an organization which helps different initiatives throughout the community and internationally.
We love to support the Rotary Club of Windsor. It's a great organization giving to a lot of great things. And it's a great way to sample our local restaurants and our wineries, as well as try a little bit of the world wine.
Event goers were able to sit down and enjoy wine tasting, get a plate of food, and relax with other guests for a complete night out.
And everyone here can agree, there's nothing like fine dining, fine wine, great company, and being able to support your local community. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Jolene Perrin.
For decades, Special Olympics Canada has supported the lives of citizens with intellectual disabilities through sports. One of the events was held at the University of Windsor on Tuesday. Haley Treloat has the story.
Encouraging fans, competitive participants, and a field house full of smiles. More than 100 students from local high schools kept their eye on the ball, competing for the top spot in a bocce tournament. They call this the Four Corners Provincial School Championships, and this event is a regional qualifying event. The competitors all have one thing in common. Everyone has a lot of fun. Organizers say the program provides a fun but still competitive experience for students who all have an intellectual or physical disability.
What we do before our events is division teams based on their ability levels, and then that means that when they come to a competition, they're only playing against teams of similar ability levels.
The Four Corners Provincial School Championships will be held in Toronto in the spring, with one of these teams aiming for gold. Reporting for MediaPlex News, I'm Haley Treloat.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sarah Ryrie, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.